There is really nothing worse than having extra work piled up on top of you and knowing that there's really nothing you can do about it, and feeling trapped, and then feeling resentful because you know that you have to do it and you're not going to get paid extra for doing the extra work, right? I've been there. If you guys have been there, leave a comment and let me know. This tends to get worse when the economy is bad, times like now, because what happens is companies lay off a bunch of people and then they spread the work amongst the people who are left behind. And so if you are, maybe you survived the round of layoffs, but now you got to do the work of the people who were laid off, plus your own work that you already had. And again, I speak from experience. This has happened to me. Um, and then the reason that you feel trapped and you feel like you have no choice but to do the extra work that's piled on is because you're a salaried employee and they kind of own you and own your time. And they know it, which is why they do that to you. Um, so, again, I'm sure we have all been in that situation and felt that. Also, you have probably created a lifestyle that demands that you stay in the trap and do the work, right? And so I'm speaking more from like a financial perspective, right? So you may not, um, due to maybe just the way you budget or lifestyle inflation or whatever, you kind of have to, you don't really have any wiggle room to like walk away or, even look for something else. And so, again, this just all like builds more feelings of resentment and sucks up your time. So, oh, let me see what y'all are saying. As a remote worker, when you have a clear, yeah, as a remote worker, entrepreneurs fall into this, well, solopreneurs can fall into this trap too. And I know that from experience as well. Without like that hard stop, um, you can, or without like that signal to end the workday, you can just kind of keep going and going. So, yes. All right. So let me move on to the solution for me. And it may be the solution for you. And we're going to talk about it. That solution is get a contract job doing your same type of work or in your same industry. Okay, so if you ever watched my channel before, that was probably not a surprise that that's what I was going to say. But let me explain why. Okay, let me see what y'all are saying. Yes, companies definitely believe they own. Exactly, right? And what's another word for that? We already know. Okay, so contract jobs. So the reason that this helps you with work-life balance is the first thing is they have set budgets for these roles, which means that they don't have room for overtime, which means that your hours are typically capped at 40 hours a week. So, contract jobs tend to pay higher rates when you kind of look at apples to apples on an hourly basis. And I'll link to another video where I talked about this in more detail. But the rate is already high. And so now if they got to pay time and a half at that rate, that's going to blow their budget. And they don't want to do that. So it works in your favor as a contract worker because it limits your hours. The second thing is that contract roles tend to be limited in scope. And so this is really important too. Um, they don't tend to pile extra work on because the role was scoped to do a specific thing or carry out a specific project. Now, it's important to know that this is for the contract roles that have an end date. So like a 6 month, a 12 month, a 9 month contract, right? Those are the ones that tend to have the limited scope, and that helps to prevent that like scope creep. Now, the contracts to avoid would be like the temp to perm contracts, the ones where like they're trying you out before they make you a full-time employee, because that means they're giving you the full-time, the like work scope of the full-time employee. And so that's not going to get you what you want in terms of maintaining that cap on your work week. So, okay, so let me just tell you what having a cap on my work week at 40 hours has done for me personally. So, the first thing is I have time and energy to do things outside of work. So, you're watching an example of that right now. It's because my work week is capped at 40 hours and my work day is capped at 8 hours that I was able to take a class to learn how to make YouTube videos and start a channel, right? Another example is I recently did a video where I was in New York for a couple of weeks, and I was able to get same day tickets to see Broadway shows after work because I knew that my work day was 8 hours and when it would start and when it would end, and that I would definitely be free in the evening to be able to go and see those shows. And I will link to that video as well in the description so you can just kind of see like, if you're interested, if you're curious about same day Broadway tickets, or you just want to know like what I did in New York. Okay. I have more time and energy to take care of my health, right? I have time to work out, to think about what I'm eating, to cook, to just kind of be more conscious about my my diet. A lot of times when you're rushed, let's just pretend like the workday went over. That's when you start grabbing chips and snacks and like whatever it takes to fuel you through that extra, because you're working a longer day. I don't have to worry about any of that. I can kind of plan my meal times. Oh, that's another thing. I do intermittent fasting. So that's a lot easier to manage because I can manage my schedule. All right. So what else? Oh, I have the time and energy to do things on the weekends. So that sounds small, but it's not. Um, and it's because I'm not spending Saturday and Sunday recovering from the work week, right? I worked my 8 hours a day. I worked my 40 hours. I'm done. I'm controlling my schedule. And that means that I can wake up on Saturday and say, okay, what are we going to do today? So, for example, yesterday I went to a museum and a music festival. And I know that I would not have had, at this age, I would not have had the time and energy to get up on a Saturday and do any of those things if I was worn out from a job that was basically making me work overtime, but not calling it that, right? So, yeah, I just have more control over my schedule. I know exactly how long my workday is going to be, and I can kind of manage my time and energy and my expectations around that. So, as you can see, there are a lot of positive spillover effects from having a work week that is just 40 hours. Now, if you can get a work week that's less than that and still pay your bills, that's great. But I think for most of us, we probably still need the 40-hour framework, at least for now, while we're working on some things in the background, maybe, right? Francis says contract work sounds amazing. Like, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, if you gotta work, this is the way to do it, right? We'd rather probably be on the beach somewhere, but as long as we have to work, like, let's do it in a way that gives us as much freedom and free time and personal time as possible. Okay. So if you are intrigued by what I just said, or you're wondering if contract work is possible for you. Watch my video on how to find contract roles, and I will link to that in the description. All right, so if you got value from this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of new videos.